Hi, my name is Ashley with Triangle Tech. Thank you so much for joining me today. What I'm going to do with you over this next 20-30 minutes, I don't want to take up too much of your time today. I am going to tell you a little bit about Triangle Tech, our school, our programs, our services. Maybe that's why you decided to click on this presentation. You have some familiarity with what we do at Triangle Tech and you want to learn a little more. Maybe you're just here for some career exploration, and that's fantastic as well. You just kind of want to see what all your options are. So I'm going to go into more depth of what Triangle Tech does, but I have a lot of general information for you as well. So I truly think that no matter what you ultimately decide to get into after you graduate from high school, that there's information from this presentation that you're going to be able to apply in a broader sense. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Give me just a second. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. And real quick, before I get started, just a quick housekeeping thing. Right now in the corner, you see a QR code and you also see a link for a virtual advisor. If at any point you would like to get some more information on Triangle Tech, or maybe you're curious if this is the right type of career education for you, you can, if you have a phone, you can hover it over the QR link, or you can go to that website. You'll be taken to a survey. And don't worry, this is going to be sprinkled throughout the presentation as well. So you might be saying, okay, I think I kind of want to hear what you say a little more before if I decide to get some more information. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to grab that along the way. Triangle Tech, we are considered a post-secondary career school, trade school, technical school. You know, these are all phrases you may have heard, but what does that mean? So a post-secondary career school is something for after high school graduation. These are occupationally oriented education institutions that are offering entry-level skills and training focused on specific careers. And in Pennsylvania alone, there's more than 200 that you can choose from. It truly depends on what you want to specialize in. There are schools out there that just do cosmetology programs, or maybe you've heard of schools that just focus on culinary programs or business. There are art schools, medical, computers, and what we do at Triangle Tech, which is more of the skill trades. So why should you think about attending one of these schools? What are the benefits for you? Well, first, you're getting training in fields with critical shortages with a lot of hands-on learning. Typically, you're going to be able to graduate and enter the job market in 2 years or less, which gives you a really good return on investment. Now, in case you don't know what return on investment means, I certainly didn't really understand this concept till I was out of high school. You know, return on investment means how much you've gained, how much you've lost based off what you initially put into something. So in terms of your education, the goal is to be earning a salary that would break you even with what your cost of going to school was, if not putting you further ahead. Now, I want to go back to this first bullet point here. Training in fields with critical shortages. This typically means high job demand. According to Mike Rowe, hopefully you guys are familiar with Mike Rowe. If not, you might know him best as being the host of Dirty Jobs. That still doesn't ring a bell for you. He's a really big advocate for the trades. So if you're not familiar with him, I think he's a really interesting guy. I would definitely recommend checking out some of his stuff online on YouTube. He makes a lot of really interesting points. But according to him, there are 7 million jobs right now that are open, and the vast majority don't require a 4-year degree. So there's a ton of opportunity that people don't talk about. And as a result, the skills gap has gotten wider. And the skills gap, it's real, it exists. And one of the big contributing factors to it is baby boomers. Over the past few years, a lot of baby boomers, you know, it's an aging demographic in the skilled trade. So a lot of people have retired. A lot of people are planning on retiring soon. And there really hasn't been the younger generation getting in, getting the training to replace us as they're leaving the workforce. So a lot of good jobs are open. And not only are the skilled trades high in demand, they're also essential careers as well. COVID-19, let's be honest, has probably changed some conversations you might be having as far as where you want to go to school, what type of career you want to get into. Especially people want to make sure they're getting into a career that has good job security. You know, in the event of another lockdown, you want to make sure that you'll still be employed. And the skilled trades have proven to be more stable than many other professions, as proven by the fact that many of these duties and jobs were deemed essential during COVID-19 lockdowns. Over these last 6 months, we actually have 6 locations of Triangle Tech throughout the state. And between all 6 locations, there have still been over 1,300 full-time job openings available for graduates. So the skilled trades, really good time to be getting into a high demand essential career. So what can you do right now as a high school student to prepare for that next step to go to a career, a technical school? Certainly any related elective that you can take is going to be beneficial, whether it's a STEM program, something in science, technology, engineering, math. Math is going to be extremely important for a skilled trade. So definitely might not be your favorite subject, but you want to make sure you're keeping up on your math classes. Any type of industrial arts classes, you know, if your school offers some type of CAD program or woodworking or metal shop, you know, certainly try to get involved in any of those. You also could have the option of attending your local ABTS or CTC. So maybe you want to go for a half day, you know, check out some of the offerings there. It's a really good way to start to get a little more hands-on training and familiarity with some of these programs. Go out and observe jobs. And again, this is something that I think regardless of what you want to decide to get into, whether it's one of our programs at Triangle Tech, maybe you want to be an accountant, any opportunity you have to observe jobs, it's really going to be beneficial. You know, maybe you can have a part-time job in a field you're considering. Maybe you can have an internship or just go job shadow. A lot of times if you just do some career research online, it doesn't really give you the full scope of what your day-to-day life will be like. And sometimes having those opportunities to see things firsthand, you're going to leave that experience saying, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. I'm on the right path. Or you might say, okay, that wasn't quite what I expected. Maybe I need to rethink some things. And you'll have that opportunity to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what other career might be a good fit for you. And once you kind of get all this career research under your belt, it's time to start exploring your post-secondary options. So the best way to know if a school is going to be the right fit for you is you want to go visit that school. Now, every school right now is working differently. I can let you know at Triangle Tech, we are offering both in-person or virtual admissions appointments, depending on what you're comfortable in. But you really want to make sure you're connecting with an admissions representative so you can get your questions answered. You know, find out, hey, how many students are graduating from this program? How many of them are getting placed in jobs? If you are able to get on campus, you can walk around. You can check out the classrooms, the equipment, maybe talk to some of the faculty members, just to overall make sure it's a good fit for you. It's an atmosphere you can see yourself thriving in. Also, you can start asking questions about financial aid and what's offered with that. I'll go into financial aid information towards the end of the presentation, so we will circle back to that. But honestly, you just want to make sure you're connecting with an admissions representative to have that conversations, look at the school, and make sure you're getting all your questions answered. If you like what you see from a tour, it's time to apply. The application process is relatively simple. First, you want to figure out when you want to start class. Now, a lot of schools, they give you two options. You can start in the fall, you can start in the spring. Triangle Tech actually does offer 3. So it's just a little extra flexibility, another option depending on when you're ready to make a decision. So after you graduate high school, your first option to start with us would be in June. We start another semester in October and one in February as well. Now, for admissions requirements, you're going to need to check. Every school, again, will be a little different with what they need. You will need a high school diploma or a GED for post-secondary options. SAT scores, ACT scores, standardized testing like that might vary by school. I can let you know that at Triangle Tech, we do not require those for admissions. Now, if you do become a student at these trade technical schools, what can you expect? Smaller class sizes. We like to keep our classes to 25 students or less, so it's a really nice student-teacher ratio. Nobody's really getting lost in the shuffle. There's a lot of personalized attention from instructors, you know, directors, assistant directors, your admissions representative, your financial aid advisor. You know, everybody knows everybody, so it's a really nice environment. The majority of your classes will be in your chosen field with a lot of hands-on training in theory. If you are somebody that likes working with your hands, that's what you want to do. You know, the students who come to us, they want to wire, they want to weld, they want to build things. And one of the things that they do like about our curriculum is, yes, there is a lot of time spent in the labs. But even their theory classes, it's something that they're using in the field. So they don't have to read Shakespeare and then write a book report on it. They don't have to memorize a bunch of dates from the Revolutionary War. They don't have to take art classes or any type of elective. Certainly, if you enjoy those types of subjects in your free time, read all the books you want, watch as many documentaries as you would like. But for our curriculum, we're really teaching what's going to make you workforce ready. Now, this last bullet point of attendance is extremely important. We really do emphasize attendance. Our school days are Monday through Friday from 8 to 2:30. So probably very similar to what your high school schedule already is, so that won't be a huge transition for you. So of course we want to stress attendance. First, if you're not in class, you're not learning the skills you need to be workforce ready. Also, when you look further down the line when it comes to employment opportunities, it's going to be really important. We will post your attendance record on your transcript. So to graduate from our program, you need to be there 85% of the time. That's our requirement to graduate. I will tell you guys though, when our career advisors, when we're working with companies, when they're looking to hire our graduates, usually one of the first things that they will ask is, who has the best attendance? I only want to see resumes with students who have 98% attendance or more. It's not who has the best grades. It's not who's the most skilled. Who's showing up to class? Because from an employer standpoint, if you show up to class, you're going to show up to work. So just do yourself a favor. Go to class, be present, take notes. It's only going to benefit you in the end. Now, when you graduate, it largely depends on where you're attending, what you're going to receive. You could get a diploma. It could be a certificate, it could be an associate's degree, or an AST, which is an associate's in specialized technology degree. Now, at Triangle Tech, we have a diploma program and we have some associates in specialized technology degree programs, which I'll get a little more into right now. So Triangle Tech as a school, we've actually been around since 1944. So very long-standing reputation with 6 locations throughout the state. So we're in Pittsburgh, Greensburg, DuBois, Sunbury, Bethlehem, and Chambersburg. And we actually just opened up our Chambersburg location back in October of 2019. So that's our newest location. And the fact that we're still growing and expanding as a school should really give you some assurance that we're dedicated to our graduate success. We are an accredited school. We're accredited with the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges. And then over the years, we've been named a School of Excellence, a School of Distinction, as well as being listed on Forbes magazine's first ever top 30 trade schools that they published a few years ago. So we're really proud to have these awards and recognitions behind our names. Certainly, as you're doing your career research, your school research, you want to check to see what awards, recognitions, distinctions a school has. We offer 5 different associate degree programs. We have our CAD with additive manufacturing and 3D printing, maintenance, electricity and construction, carpentry and construction, refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, welding and fabrication. Like I said, those are our 16-month associate degree programs. We are also launching a new 8-month diploma program in industrial and structural welding. So this will be an 8-month program, and it's also a stackable program. So the options for this could be you come through the 8-month program and you'll have some skills, you'll have a certification with the American Welding Society, you can go on and start working. Or if you would like to then roll that over into our 16-month associate degree program, get a little more skills and training, you'll have that option as well. So let's just talk a little more in depth about each of these programs. I'm not going to go into too much detail with you guys on anything, but just to give you an overview of what you're going to be getting into. So first up is our carpentry and construction program. We do residential with some light commercial. So the main focus in this, our students are really building a house from the ground up. Everything from concrete forms and placement, interior trim, window installation, stair design, roof design, masonry work, bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling. You have some related trades like some light plumbing, some light electrical. We have a cabinet shop. So a very well-rounded program. This is also a really good program if you're somebody that is interested in having your own business down the road. You're going to have the skills and knowledge to do so. So welding for the associate degree program, our students, we use 4 different processes. We do MIG, TIG, stick, and flex core, and we're doing that on both pipe and plate. One of the great things with this program is the certifications our students can earn. So in both the 8-month and the 16-month program, our students will test for the American Welding Society for structural steel. And then those in the 16-month program will also test for 2 pipe certifications as well. One is with the American Petroleum Institute, lower pressure system. So if you're interested in working on the gas lines, that's a certification to allow you to do that. And then we have one with the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, which is your higher pressures. So boilermakers, power plants, nuclear subs, things of that nature. So those certifications, if you're somebody interested in getting into the welding field, those certifications are really going to be key to getting those good jobs. Refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, really great program. Again, you started in residential. I think for a lot of people, when you hear HVAC technician, you're thinking, well, that's the person in the middle of winter, if my heat's not working, they're coming to fix it, or middle of summer, AC is not working, you know, they're coming out. Yes, you learn residential. Then you go into the commercial side of things. So just take a minute, think about restaurants, grocery stores, convenience stores, ice cream places, all those walk-in coolers, displays for meats, cold products. There's transport refrigeration, so you get into that aspect. Then we have the industrial side. You work on a little more of a computer program called a direct digital control. So again, you're really learning all three phases. And this is another great program as well. If you are interested in having your own business, you will acquire the skills to do that. CAD with additive manufacturing and 3D printing. Blueprint design. CAD stands for computer aided drafting and design. Anything that is built, anything that goes through a manufacturer has a blueprint behind it. So our students learn both architectural and mechanical, and we use a few different software packages. We have AutoCAD for our 2D, then we use two 3D programs called Revit and Inventor. And we also have recently added the 3D printing with additive manufacturing, which is the future of this particular field. And last, we have our maintenance electricity program. So again, you start in residential, go into commercial, and we really focus on the industrial side of the field. It's called a programmable logic controller. Again, it's a very marketable skill. A lot of employers are looking for students that have this PLC knowledge. So with all of our programs, I think I mentioned this a couple of times, they're really well-rounded. Our students don't just learn one skill to do one job. They're really getting an overview of the field to go into a diverse number of career opportunities. So it's wonderful to have those options available to you. And the other nice thing too, you don't have to have any experience to start our programs. I know I sometimes hear, you know, when I'm talking about some of these programs, students are saying, oh, I don't know the first thing about welding. I'm not good with working with my hands. I've never picked up a hammer before. You know, I can't do any of this stuff. We start from the very beginning. So if you're kind of saying, yeah, electricity sounds cool, or I know somebody who's in that field, but I know how to turn a light switch on and off, and that's about the extent of it, you're not going to be behind whatsoever. So please don't let that be a deterrent if that's something that might be holding you back. So switching gears a little bit, talking about financial aid. You know, at the very beginning of this presentation, I talked about how our students can graduate in 2 years or less, which gives a good return on investment. So financial aid, I know cost of going to school is a big conversation everybody's having. And it is great because our school does have financial aid advisors that will sit down with you and your families to go through a FAFSA form step by step. The FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. This is something that you're going to need to fill out regardless of where you decide to go to school. It sees what you're eligible for with your grants and your loans through the state, through the federal government. So it's fantastic that we do have somebody that will go through this step by step with you and your families just to make sure everything is filled out correctly. I always thought this was a bit of a confusing process when I was going through it, so I would have appreciated some help. But not only that, you know, it's a personalized appointment, so they can go over your budget with you, so there should really be no surprises with what your out-of-pocket costs are. Financial aid is something else. When you start researching schools and you see costs, you see tuition, you see books, you see room and board, those numbers can get high. And I understand you might look at that number and say, way too expensive, I can't afford that. But I would definitely encourage you, have that financial aid appointment before you make that decision. There's a lot of assistance out there, a lot of ways to kind of cut down on what you might have to pay out of pocket. So again, don't just make that decision based off what those first numbers are, because that's what the numbers are before you go through financial aid. We are Yellow Ribbon School. So if you're somebody that is considering going into the military, we do take GI benefits. We have a lot of credit for credit articulation agreements. So I just mentioned that to start our programs, you don't have to have any experience. And that's great. But you might be somebody that's saying, well, I go to my CTC. I've done welding for 3 years. I've been a part of my carpentry program. I don't need to start from the very beginning. So we have a lot of established credit for credit articulations with a lot of programs throughout the state. So what we've done is we've taken a look at your CTC programs and your curriculum to line it up with our curriculum to see if there's any overlap. So there could be some potential, depending on where you attend and what program that you're in, that some of your credits automatically transfer to our program. What does this mean for you? There are classes that you don't have to take and credits you don't have to pay for. So right off the bat, that's going to save you money. You also have the option to place out of our classes as well. You can try to place out of up to 50% of our curriculum. So you might come in and say, you know what, I don't need an intro to computers class. I'm really good at math. You know, any of our courses, if you think that you already are pretty well set on those, ask to take the final. It's free. It's not going to, cost you anything to try this. So if you take the final for a course and you get 75% or higher, you've placed out. Same things apply. You don't have to take that class and you're not going to have to pay for the credit. So those are some really great options for anybody that is already coming in with some experience. And scholarships. Scholarships, 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 scholarships. I can't stress the importance of scholarships enough. Scholarships, like grants, it's money that you're not going to have to repay. But the great thing with scholarships is, whereas with the FAFSA form, when you're figuring out what you're eligible for with grants and loans, that's income-based scholarships. There's so many scholarships out there that could have absolutely nothing to do, with income, with what your grades are, with sports are. So definitely do some research. Check with your school counselors, find out about local opportunities, businesses, community organizations that would have scholarships available. Apply to as many of those as you can. I have been with Triangle Tech 10 years now, and I've gone to schools all across the state. And one thing I'm constantly hearing, particularly with local scholarships, is how many end up going unclaimed. Guys, there are organizations, they want to give money to you, but nobody took 30 minutes to fill out an application or to write an essay. So it needs to go to somebody. Why not you? So definitely explore those opportunities. You can do a Google search, type in weird scholarships, odd scholarships. There are scholarships out there all the way, things from being left-handed to being tall, to being the middle child, to being a fan of Star Trek, to writing a survival plan if the zombie apocalypse happens. So I'm sure you guys can all probably find a couple scholarships that way that would appeal to you. And lastly, there are a lot of scholarships for technical education. So organizations like Imagine America, MicroWorks, American Welding Society have scholarships available. And we do offer our own scholarships as well to our incoming June starts. Our scholarship covers 25% of our tuition. So if this is something that you're considering, definitely talk to your admissions and financial aid advisor about it. You will need to have a 2.5 GPA. You will have to write a brief essay, about 250 words, of why you're interested in your field, and have 2 letters of recommendations. Now, our winners are chosen by an outside board, but like I said, it does cover 25% of tuition, so definitely a great option to explore. And the last main service I want to discuss with you guys deals with career advising. It's all about employment. That's why everybody is interested in furthering their education. And again, each of our locations has a career advisor on site to assist our students with their job placement. So it starts with a class called Job Communications. This is where you're getting skills like resume writing, your cover letters, etc. And then our career advisors will do mock interviews with you and get you comfortable with that process. And then they'll start to know you. What are you interested in? What do you want to specialize in? Is there a certain company you want to work for? Do you want to stay local? Do you want to relocate? You might be saying, I hate winter. I don't like being cold. Snow's not for me. So I want to move south. I want to be living in Florida at the beach. So our career advisors have a lot of connections. They can send resumes directly to. Companies will call us up when they're looking to hire. So we really do a lot to assist our students with their job placement. And what's great with this service as well, it's a continual service. Graduates can come back to us at any point. So it could be 6 months after graduation. It could be 20 years down the line. If at any point you're looking for new employment, you can come back to us free of charge, which is an excellent service to offer. So a lot of great services. With that being said, that does kind of wrap up my presentation. Like I said, a couple options with our programs. You can earn an associate's degree in just 16 months or a diploma in 8 months. A couple other ways to get in touch with us. We're on all the major social medias. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. YouTube has some excellent videos. I would definitely recommend checking out our YouTube channel. Some great videos on there from our graduates, from employers. You can check out specific programs, a specific school location. And then, of course, we have a website, or you can call our 1-800 number or text for more information. And as I said, there's that QR code and that virtual advisor as well. So guys, I want to thank you so much for your time, your attention today. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope to be seeing you in our hallways soon. So thank you guys so much.